Welcome. This is Hightech, and this is the semi-final of FFA Masters League Season 30. I am on my own tonight. Unfortunately, no one was willing to cast with me, but I got my beer, so I'm good. And we do have a very interesting match here. Deserved semi-finalists, 3 of them with the same score after round 4, so we had to use a tiebreaker because there was a 4th one, Jogge, who unfortunately didn't win the tiebreaker, so he had 1 victory less. So Liltig, Vyvanne and Gradient ended up in this semifinal together with qwest. So qwest was the one with most points, so he had map choice and he chose Twilight. Is it Twilight? Yes, it's Twilight Ruins ladder version, so slightly different than the one we usually play. He spawns way to the left, far away from the other ones, which is a very promising spawn for him. And yeah, I guess knowing qwest, he figured something out, but we'll see. Gradient here with a yellow color, going for a tavern build order. We see him with Demon Hunter, Naga, Priestess very often these days, but doesn't seem to be the case here. So I'm curious if it's going to be Tinker, which I guess it may be, or Dark Ranger, or Beastmaster, but I assume he will go for Tinker. It's a very nice Tinker map. Vyvanne here, probably the strongest player in terms of micro in this cast, of surely the strongest one in terms of micro. But a tricky spawn here, especially with Undead, not easy to play against Gradient. So I assume he will just go for his usual Fiend, BO, his 3 heroes, try to creep a lot, and then yeah, I'm not sure if he may go for an early push here, maybe on Gradient. That's usually something that many skilled players try to do, as they are afraid to deal with Gradient later on, so they tend to rush him early, but we'll see. And last but not least here, Liltig, building his usual circle base, and he's also not going for some rifleman experiments here, but for his standard Archmage, MK Paladin BO, and yeah, he's known to play very passively, so that's another disadvantage for Vyvanne here, who is the most active, one of the most active and aggressive players in terms of playstyle, and all of his enemies here are known to play very passively and sneakily. So qwest is known to be a macro genius, so he's always trying to hoard some gold and trying to get a safe victory. So also not afraid of using manip. Gradient, yeah, tries to avoid breaking 50 supplies, so he's trying to get some gold, and if he attacks, he usually tries to attack with an advantage, so he tries to fight 100 versus 80 and fall back to 50 supply right after. And he's known for his harassment late game, which can be very annoying, especially for undeads. And also Liltig, yeah, a genius in hoarding a lot of gold on very few mines, so he has decent micro and fighting skills, but he's trying to play very efficiently, so he usually tries to defend on 50 supply. Tends to play a very peaceful style and just maintain his gold advantage later on. And if he succeeds in doing so, he will just go for aggressive for aggression later on once he has the gold advantage, and he's very good at base races.
A player's forces are under attack.
We all remember the semi-final, the final of the previous season where it ended up. Was it him in that one? Maybe not, but it ended up with a lot of towers on islands. But I tend to confuse some of the games that he played with some of the ones of GS last season. So, but he likes his islands.
A player's forces are under attack.
And please let me know if the sound levels are alright, or if you can't hear in-game sounds too well. My voice is too loud, and I'll try to fix it with a 15-minute delay, as we always have.
A player's forces are under attack.
Yeah, that might be a disadvantage of Litic here. He did not really prepare much, I guess, so he played very few in-house matches recently, and as we just saw, he didn't even know what map this is, like that this is the LV version and not the one that we usually see. So I'm curious why qwest chose it. Like, we know, especially against these players, obviously it can be an advantage for him to have stronger creeps, and the LV version has stronger natural creep camps, so 2 of these deep seers, which is an advantage for him. Like, he has his qwest BO, so he gets his DK very late, but then he has his 2 heroes to creep, to start creeping very quickly once he reaches tier 2. And other players that may usually have an advantage on tier 1 can only utilize it if there are creep spots that can be crept with just 1 hero and a few archers, for example. But I'd say it's not that much of an advantage here playing against a human gradient here with this style, and also Vyvanne with his opener, like, is able to, or was able to, creep this very, very easily. Against Orc it would have been a major advantage here, I'd say. Like, Orc can't really creep this, as far as I know, like, unless you manage to do it exactly right, and both deep seers are bugged and don't attack your hero. I don't think it's really easy or you can't really creep it with just a Blade Master if there are 2 deep seers that attack you, or it just takes a lot of time. So not really an advantage here. And we play this map version so rarely. Usually, like, it's the old version is just so, like, nice, or it's just so nicely balanced and so good that it's just difficult to get used to something else. And in, like, the most obvious changes here, the merc camps here are swapped with the shops on the outside, which I personally find very annoying, because you tend to, like, it depends on the spawns, but usually it's, yeah, like, the shops in the center are just way more accessible than the shops here that are only, like, if you let's say if you spawn here and your enemy is here, it's just super annoying to walk here, and it's just way easier to quickly pass by the shop in the center. So it's, I don't like it, but of course, like, if you're just so used to another version, it's also more difficult to get used to something new.
A player's forces are under attack.
So very quick creeping here now by qwest. He blocked his DK here. Like, what's he doing? Will he try to? Yeah, he's trying to steal it, I guess. It will be interesting to see who's getting it. Obviously they can't coil it, but qwest stole it, so very nice steal here. I'm not sure if it's tricky. Like, Vyvanne can't really go for an engagement here against the worm and triple heroes. So, unfortunate for him. Like, he's in this round and then now he gets confronted by the enemy on the other side.
A player's forces are under attack.
Yeah, Gradient here with amazing items. Like, he found a Scroll of Restoration, found a Greater Invul, also very nice. So he's creeping very well, also getting both of these red spots. I personally, like, obviously with Undead, creeping this is more, like, it's easier because these creeps won't coil you if you're Undead. But I personally think it's... I like the items more that you get here, and it's just, like, you get your expansion here, and that's why I highly prefer creeping these creep camps instead of the ones in the middle. And on top in the middle you get creep jacked much more easily because everyone's passing by. So graded here, level 4.5, level 3 Panda, and almost level 2 Keeper. So he's very well prepared, getting his third expansion. Preparing his main base. Like, his Hunter's Hall is very late, I feel. Usually, especially if you basically know that that it's likely that you're going to face the Undead, you want your Hunter's Hall very quickly because you need as many upgrades as you can before taking the first fight. So not a huge fan of it. And also, I mean, obviously an Ancient of Law, if you want to dispel sleep, can be a huge help too. Vyvanne here found a Pendant of Energy, or bought it. I guess he found it. Very nice. We do see Warsong Battle Drums, also a very great item, one of the best items
Are under attack.
you can find being Undead. And we do see the Warsong Battle Drum bug once you stack, I think, almost every hero, right? But at least half of the heroes, if equipped with the Warsong Battle Drums, will go into their ultimate spell position or pose whenever they stand still, which looks pretty nice. It's cool, I like it, but just another bug, I guess. Qwest here, playing it very efficiently as always. Like, he with these 3 heroes and the worm, these 2 Gargs even, he can creep very efficiently. I guess he may kill these 2 Gargs to not. Thank you. Oh, okay. He guess he's alright. Maybe he needs to kill 1 Garg at some point to stay on 50. Did he just buy a Cloak of Flames? Or the Warsong Battle Drums? Didn't really see it, but if he bought the Cloak of Flames, it would be a very interesting decision. I don't think he did, but don't know. Vyvanne here searching for creeps to get the DL on level 3. While Gradient is, yeah, I know, in a better spot, like hero level wise, but no, not by far. And yeah, Vyvanne is playing it well, like first position. He found the creeps, he split his DK, so his DK went shopping, I guess. Did he buy 2 Pendants of Energy now? So it's pretty nice to really buy them early. Such a huge advantage, especially against like a certain night elf players like Gradient. You're just able, like, Gradient is trying to go for 100 supply, and is not the best in microing his hippos, and he's often following with all his air units, so especially with his hippos. So it can be very easy to just snipe all these air units if you have enough mana. So and also it's a life insurance. Like if he is under pressure, like and undead needs mana, and it's just super difficult to keep statues alive. So guess it makes sense. And interestingly, Lil Tick is going for the 100 push here, and that went unscouted. So I'm not sure if Vyvanne has any shades here. He has one shade here, so he probably expected the attack. Like it's a bit of a similar story as last time. Oh, and that was a very bad swarm. Yeah, not the best scouting, I guess. Like he missed it, so I think it's a totally viable move by Lil Tick here to go for this push. Obviously, he has a huge gold disadvantage now, but like Vyvanne is at 6k gold, so it's not even a super early push. It's almost 20 minutes in, so I'd say it's very, like, it's a very normal timing to be pushed by, yeah, by other players, and it's the best possible push for Lil Tick. Like, it's much more difficult to face an undead cross map who has Unholy Aura and can move much more quickly. So until you have mass TP, being human, you want to fight someone who's rather close to you. Oh, and on the other side, qwest also going for the attack. So that's me. That feels bad here. Tanks are still like, tanks are not as strong as they were, or as they have been with this one supply more now, but it's still like very effective to play them this, like, at this point. Dreadlord just level 2, so level 1 swarm isn't dealing overly much damage, so there's just nothing the undead can do against it. You will just lose your base unless you scouted it early enough and went up to 100, and you probably need like you need a lot of worms on Necro Wagon, but it's just so, yeah, like your base is dying so quickly, and it's just so difficult to kill all these tanks. And like this is a very sneaky move by qwest. So it feels nasty from an ops perspective, but qwest is a very, like, he's a very smart guy, and he knows it, yeah. Yeah, as Ponty says, it's a dirty move, but I see his point. Like he could try to fight Grady, but he knows
a player's forces are under attack.
Yeah, I guess it didn't make sense for him to leave Vyvanne alive, and it doesn't really make sense for qwest to try to fight Grady, because Grady will just try to avoid going to 100, and with Tinker Penna he will be able to defend it quite well. So qwest would need to go to 100, and by the time he arrives here, Grady would gain an additional gold advantage. So in qwest's position, it's probably easiest to just, like, being in a great position here on the bottom left, to just out-horde the others and hope that they're going to fight each other now. And yeah, so he plays it well, but that felt like that was a nasty move. On the other hand, like, it's tricky if one player dies so quickly to tanks in this case. Just not much you can do really to, like, you don't necessarily want to save him, but yeah,
Players' forces are under
it's
attack.
tricky. And obviously, Quest being in this position had no, like, interest in seeing another base closer to his main, so was it an okayish move, I guess. And the mana begins. Grady up to 76 supply. Tinker almost level 5, so that's a huge deal, especially against these tanks. You want your Tinker level 5. Rockets are so effective against these ground units. Nicely pulling back the Chimeras. Needs to be careful here with the Tinker. Nicely staffed. What's the Panda doing? Not a fan here. Not a fan of this Panda Micro here. He needs to get breaths off on these tanks. Like, if once these tanks die, it's much more easy to defend the best, but you need the tanks to die. On the other hand, he has his AP, so he's alright. Polymorph here. Yeah, he's alright. Could have... Yeah, he's defending on 80, so usually Grey tends to push to 100, but knowing he can defend this and knowing that Quest is just hoarding on the other side, I think it was a wise move here by Grady to stick on 80. On 4 mines you lose so much gold going to 100, so he's staying on 80 supply, and I guess they may peace now. Liltic having less gold than the others, but considering that he was basically down to 0 gold when he attacked Vyvanne, he has a decent bank now, so we'll be able to defend for some time. I'm curious if Quest will... Okay, he's pushing up to 80 now. He needs to take a fight at some point to get some levels, and Liltic and Grady are very, like, and Quest knows it, Liltic and Grady are very keen on like other players hoarding, so they will not just, usually these two players will not just suicide one another, so they will scout, and they are well aware that Quest is someone who likes to hoard gold. So Quest being on 15k is a decent bank, but not much more than the other two. Like, even 7k against 15k is not like, it can make a difference later on, but at this point it's still fine. Like 7k will allow you to go up to 100 supply. Yeah, will go up, will help you to do that, and we'll be fine. Lutic's main base very weak though. I like to see some more farms maybe spread out. Like, this is an invitation for Death and Decay later on. Also, he's lacking some production, I think. Just 4 workshops. Would like to see 6 at least. Double shredder here. And Grady's facing another attack here by Quest. And that will grant Liltic some time. He is on 80 supply. Curious to see whether he kills 24 supply or not. I guess he isn't. Level 5 Dreadlord. So powerful. How did he get his Dreadlord to level 5? Quite impressive. even kill this Shredder to get one of his other heroes closer to level 5. But I guess he will get them to level 5 in his first engagement here. Needs to kite this army, I believe. Like, he can't fight this straight up. Yeah. We'll go for some kiting. Panda almost level 4. And Gradient always, like, his items... Okay, no, he has his staff on the same spots now. Fight breaking out here. And the DK dies. Not popping the invul. I think he must have had an invul. And there's no TP on the other heroes. So this is a horrible fight for qwest. He will just lose all of these air units. That was really bad, not having a second TP here. He's trying to go for some kiting here. qwest not really chasing. He could staff one of like his keeper now to entangle one of these heroes. Like, there's no more invul, so if he staffs his keeper now, he could try to go for a snipe here. He's going for the staff here. Instant sleep. Nicely done.
A player's forces are under attack.
Shredder block. And denying the experience here. But yeah, that was a good fight here for Grady. On the other hand, qwest may have just used that to fall back to 50. So it's, yeah, this will be a continuous pattern on this map with these players. Like, who's on one hand, like, who's winning the fights, but on the other hand, whoever's losing the fight will get the opportunity to hoard on 50. And that's what at least Grady and qwest will always go for. Like, as soon as they foul, will always try to stay on 50 for some time. So he's on 20k, up to 20k almost.
A town is under siege.
And yeah, Gradient being on 80 didn't manage to hoard that much, but he is going for some expansion kills here. But that was, yeah, it's a very unnecessary hero loss here. So qwest surely the most experienced player in these situations, like how to play it out. But with Undead, he is like in the most difficult spot against a human that will have mass TP later on, and a Night Elf with like Night Elf buildings and Tinker. It will be a challenge for him to keep the upper hand and stay alive. But gold-wise, he's not like he will not run out of gold anytime soon. He has still 6k gold here, 4.5 here, 9k gold here in this. Like, he took his natural quite late, 7k here, so I wouldn't be surprised if he goes up to 30k at some point.
A town is under siege.
Yeah, and Lil Tick tries to look weak. I'm not quite sure if that's going to help in this one, in this match. And something I haven't mentioned yet, the final will be like the winning player. Let's focus on this fight here first. qwest on 79 against Grady on 79, but I guess, okay, no, that piece, no fight here. So the finalists are Jankar Zam from Sweden, random player, likes to play very aggressively, very interesting playstyle. He gathered most points in the 4 rounds of season 30, so he will be able to choose a map. Curious what map he's going to go for. And the other 2 finalists are Super Cumulo from Peru, human player, and Trunks from Germany, the strongest Night Elf player these days, who is always sticking with Demon Hunter, Naga, Priestess. So the final hopefully going to be played, I guess not tomorrow, but rather next weekend. But we'll see, depending on player availability. And yeah, curious to see who is going to secure a title in that one. If it's going to be like a title repeater, or if it's going to be someone who hasn't won a title yet. And Younger Zam playing very strongly these days, but haven't won a title yet. Surely deserve it. I think maybe deserve it most. Like, he played very well also in TBR. And regarding TBR, Team Battle Royale is a team-based event that's going to come up starting on November 20, or sign-up deadline is November 22nd, and probably on November 23rd we'll have a draft where 4 or 5 captains are going to draft their team players, and then we'll see a lot of fun games and special modes in the course of December, with the last match probably being scheduled for December 29th. So a lot of fun and team-based actions in TBR usually, and a lot of drama too sometimes, but it's just great to see people rooting for teams, and it has a totally different dynamic in that during that time compared to just any other time and any other FML event. And we do see Gradient attacking Niltik here. Tinker soon up to 100, and yeah, Gray feels more comfortable fighting humans than he does with undeads. Like, he's not... He doesn't like to fight kiting undeads. I personally would always prefer to fight an undead instead of like humans with tanks, but Gray's doing it well. Usually he is, but is Tinker way too exposed here? Wow, and he almost gets to level 6, like 2 XP short here of level 6. But I mean, he lost a TP, but didn't lose many units and got some experience by killing these gyros here. So
a town is under siege.
Was a nice attack. And now, yeah, your quest going for the attack also. And Radiant seems to take this convincingly. 83 supply for him, still 76 now, while Quest lost way more. So that was a nice fight here for Gradient. Not a nice fight for Quest. I don't think you should take a straight up fight against these heroes anytime. Like in this situation, Quest could have pulled back and just sniped some of these air units with AoE. Would have been way easier, I think, and that was a bit sloppy by him. And we'll see now. I'm curious to see how serious Lil Tick is going to. Nice fake TP by Quest by Grady. And we'll see how seriously Lil Tick takes this entire game. Like, we know he won his first, like he won the first FML season he participated, so he got his title, and we do see like his motivation slightly falling off this season, so he isn't preparing as much, he isn't playing as many in-house games. So on the flip side, he might be tempted to just suicide someone like Gradient more quickly if Gradient doesn't stop harassing him. Now they're both on Gradient heavily, but Gradient managing to preserve his gold very well. Tinker level 6 now. Grady needs to be careful here to not like lose this fight too heavily, which he will against these Dragonhawks. Yeah, he needs to pull back. He has no TP, and he got his experience. Killing Gyros definitely makes sense. Lil Tick up to 15k gold, so nicely hoarded. We'll lose some casters here, but yeah, nice pickups here by Gradient. Keeper level 5. Curious what he's going to skill. Yeah, okay, he's not going for Thorn's Aura, which... yeah, I'm always undecided. If there's an undead in game, obviously Thorn's Aura can be very nice against Gargs, but Gargs are just so fast these days, and undeads that manage to kite well are usually not trying to take, one-on-one fights with Gargs against Hippos. So, especially with Gradient's playstyle, it seems to me that Treants are much more valuable. So, I usually go for Thorn's Aura. Like, I skill one level on Thorn's Aura at some point, but yeah, I'm always undecided. Also, in many cases, Entangle, like you need Entangle, but you don't necessarily need Entangle on level 3 always, unless you plan to like pick off units. But if other players have Dryads or Destroyers, they usually dispel it anyways. So it really depends on the situation whether you want to go for Entangle 3 or Aura or Treants. Like Treants also not overly useful early or mid game after you crap the map. It can be used for scouting, but it's always a question what you plan to do. Yeah, quest up to 25k gold. And I think that might be the way he takes the victory here, just by trading more efficiently, hoarding whenever he can, and exploiting the fact that Grady is attacking Lil Tick more, and Lil Tick might feel offended by Grady. So the more these two fight, the better it will be for Quest.
A town is under siege.
I'm not sure I like his main base. So feels a bit like a death trap to me here. He can't really kite back. I usually like if, like, whatever race you play, but if you, being like the defending player, if you're able to like kite back in your main base, and it's very easy to just get, if you start a fight here, just very easy to get trapped here in front of your towers. And also, like, towers in these or ziggurats in this position can be killed very quickly. Like, you can reach all of these ziggurats with just one rockets and one breath of fire. It will be down to half HP. So not a fan of the space here, but Quest sometimes just unsummons his main base anyway, so we'll see whether he keeps his main base. Gradient not having too many APs here. Very interesting base layout, not his usual base layout here. He's transitioning to more chimeras, which is a good call. With his hero levels now, he has like the perfect counter to Gargs. He shouldn't take the fight here though. Not sure if that's the fight he wants to take before having Keeper on level 6. Yeah, so that was a very bad fight here for Gradient. As we see, like, he was able to get some damage off on these onto these Gargs, but with heal scrolls, the undead is just always able to counter it. So you don't want to take this open fight unless you can you can cast some rockets or some breath of fires before the actual fight. And obviously with tranquility, it can change later on. We'll get sleep. We'll get slept quite quickly, but 3 seconds of is it still 3 seconds? Always forget. It's just 1.5 seconds, right? But it's still a very strong spell. So. Lil tick here, 15k gold, so he's still in levels like he doesn't have the levels he usually wants to. So I think being Lil tick, at some point he will need to fight Quest. Like, he didn't take a single fight against Quest yet, and I think he has to at some point. Gradient down to 50 supply with the undead camping in front of his main base. It's a really nice horde here. Gradient had
A player's forces are under attack.
one mine and another mine with just a bit of gold. And he's used that to stay on 50, but will lose all of his chimeras quickly now. So that was an invitation for Quest to join him in his main base. He needed to pump hippos here. And now it's also a bit of a language barrier also, like apparently. Yeah, okay, no, he writes it now. I think it doesn't really matter if Grady stays on 50. Like, it's much more painful to see Quest on 30k, and I'm not sure they realize how much gold he has, so Lil tick starting to prepare islands here, I guess. Yeah, he's starting to. So that was the island that brought him the victory last season, I think. So
A player's forces are under attack.
and I guess that might be the reason why some people dodged co-casting with me, because they knew there was a chance this game would last for quite some time. So if Lil tick manages to get up his island here, and if Gradient continues to play on 50 supply passively and just harasses, this could become quite a long game. Unless, like, I'm curious to see if Quest is going for, like, apparently he will run out of gold mines soon, and at that point it may not make sense for him to play that passively anymore, so he may try to find an opportunity to finish it. But on the other hand, he also knows that Lil tick has plenty of gold.
Attack.
Like, whoever sees this and is afraid of, like, getting afraid of watching the final after, like, with these 3 players, like, these are 3 of the, I'd say, 5 players that that are playing this league that do manage to have the longest matches, or tend to play the longest matches. So I expect the final to be shorter, depending on the 4th player that will join Trunks, Cumulo, and Yanker Zam, but yeah, the semi-final may last a bit longer than the average FML game this season, which like the average was 1.5 hours approximately, and yeah, some games can last much longer. Also, something that we will consider for TBR already is the ban of islands on some maps in particular, so on Silver Pine Forest, but eventually I guess it makes sense to also ban islands on this map. Like, as most people know, I usually like islands because they have some, like, to some degree islands are fun if they help players to just stay alive and just stay in the game, and it like islands do bring some comeback potential. But apparently if players, like if an entire play style evolves around islands, if you just try to get towers up on your islands as quickly as possible, and it just stalls the game and no one can act anymore, then it's not good for the game. So I think that's a tricky path. So on one hand you want that like freedom to some degree also in FFA games. So I think it's one of the beauty of FFA games that there are so many ways to victory, and it's really like whoever tries really hard usually has or finds a way to take the victory. But on the other hand, like too much try-hardness and preserving gold can lead to very long games, which may not be a problem for the players that play it. Like obviously, like I personally find it super exhausting to play a match that lasts more than 3 hours, but more than 2 hours even. But on the other hand, like if you play it and if you're like in the tunnel, it's something you will like you will do whatever it takes to take the victory. So I understand that, but like from a streamer perspective and also for the casual viewer, it may not be entertaining to see 4, 5 or 6 hour matches. So we'll see. I hope this one's not going to last that long. Unfortunately, Vyvanne like spawning in this round was very unfortunate. I would have liked to see him remaining in the game, because Vyvanne would have been the biggest chance here for a quick game. Like, he's not sitting much and he's using his gold, but we'll see. Deltic on 80, but not using his units here. Just trying to get some kills. While qwest is trying to get the last gold out of his expansions here. And his main mine also. His main mine has 4k still. He's not even mining that. I think he should start mining it now. At some point, players will play, or it's just a sign of, or it can be used against you as a man-up if you have 4k gold in your main mine still. It's always a bad sign for the other players. Like, it just screams that you have so much gold that you didn't have to mine your main mine even, and that you probably stayed on 50 for quite some time. Some shenanigans here, but that's like doesn't really make a difference here. Like, even if one of these heroes here dies here, which probably won't happen, it doesn't make a difference. Like, they have so much gold, it's just useless. I hope the game is going to speed up a bit more again once all these expansions are out of gold. Don't know how much gold is still in this one, but Grady has 2k here, 1k here, so at least all the gold except this mine here. At least all the other mines are out of gold soon, so we'll see. Grady may have scouted this, not sure. Yeah, now Gradient is pumping up to 100, which I think makes sense. Like, it doesn't really... And this is like the mana that's really like, obviously everyone has gold at this point. It was an early 3-way, everyone hoarded for some time, so like they all know they have gold. So apparently it's not a big thing that he's pumping to 100. And Grady prepared here, so we will see. we have the first island here. The second island probably going to come up here, another island here, and yeah, there are more islands to take here. I think it's way too early to take them. It will go scouted, like these players are scouting usually, so I can't imagine that Quest is not going to scout these islands, so I think it's useless at this point. But yeah, I think preparing can make sense, so yeah, we'll see. And I really like Grady calling out this 50. Like it's hard to tell because this can appear like, obviously you know that undeads are usually not on 80, so undeads are usually trying to fight on 100, if at least if you're an elf, and until the undead runs out of gold. But at this point there wouldn't be a reason really for Quest to be on 80. But what's he doing here? I thought he disconnected for some time. Just lost his cards for no reason here. So not sure what that was. And now now Quest will pump to 100, I guess. He's out of expansions, just his main mine with gold still, and he's on 31k gold. So Quest 31k gold, Gradient 15k, 18k for Lil Tig. So everyone has quite some gold to burn now, and we'll see how quickly they get rid of their gold. And finally, it seems Lil Tig is going for an attack on Quest, which I hope he's going for. With his levels, however, I guess he will just take the fight to get his Archmage on to level 6. What's he doing here? Needs to bring his anti-air. I like how none of these players are willing to take a fight on their own. Like, apparently, if you fight on your own, like, there's a higher risk that you will lose units or even your entire army. So, but it just, I dislike this approach to just go for fights if you, like, just go for 2v1. Like, I think in 3-way, unless you, like, obviously you need to be careful to not lose your entire army and then your entire main base right after against the third player, but I just think it's just difficult if, like, everyone has 15k gold, and yet like they are teaming at this point. So they have even similar levels. So there's no way to really team at this point. Like they can burn at least half of their gold. Quest even, like Quest can burn 20k gold before he needs to think about teaming, or before he should think about teaming someone even. He has 9k plus 20. Yeah, I guess they are aware enough that, like, at least Lil Tig is aware of the gold that was hoarded, and he knows he had, like, he has 18k gold himself, and he knows he found Gradient way more, and he was in a, like, he had a worse spawn, so it should be very apparent for Lil Tig that Quest has at least 20k. Like, if I would have 18k in this situation, I would be very certain that Quest has 20k, if not more. Gray can control his 100. So they're going for the attack now, Gradient. Having one mine here and one mine here. Not sure if Lil Tig will allow Gradient to mine them both. Lil Tig isn't scouting really well here. Like, and this is a really bad fight here for Gradient. Like, there's just no way he can win this on Blight without Tranquility, and he's not using his gold, his scrolls here. No protection scroll. That was a really bad fight. He lost. He lost basically 70 supply, and Quest lost 18. So, not a good fight. And yeah, Gradient coming from the north here. But that's why usually, being the human player, I think it would be wise to like have a gyro here or something. Like, he isn't scouting really well. He has no gyros here, he has no farms out on the map. Like, obviously farms get killed very quickly, so maybe farms don't make sense at this point, but maybe a gyro would have helped here. Now Grady back on 50, trying to hoard these two mines, which is, hey, that's just notorious mining. There's just no point they will allow him to keep these two expansions on 50. And it like that.
Forces are under attack.
I don't understand why Tig isn't like capable of fighting Quest alone. Like, ooh, but the Dragonhawks here may... interesting fight here. So many anti-air units, but still looking good, or at least even here. More supply streaming in for Quest. And yeah, Quest lost a bit more, but I'd say that was a decent fight for both. Tig got his level 6 Archmage, 5.5 MK, level 5 on his Paladin. So, very nice levels. And here,
A player's forces are under attack.
will the penalty be? Yeah, it's just in range. Another Zeppelin joining here. So at least everyone scouted this, as it seems. Like there's one Zeppelin here, one here, one here. One peasant on this island.
A player's forces
Tick
are
on
under
93
attack.
supply out of expansions. 15k gold. Gradient up to 12k gold. He has these 2 mines still, but I don't think he will get a lot of gold out of them. He might be able to finish this one, but there's no way they will let him mine 6k here. Or at least Quest won't. Like Quest will be very keen on enemy gold mines once he's out of mines, and there's just no way he will allow Grady to mine this. And now Quest is using that 50 supply against him. And Liltic isn't really scouting like that, and that's another reason why, like, I think it was a mistake by Grady to come from here and didn't listen to Liltic. I think if he had joined Liltic in the middle, yeah, and at this point, I think it's just stupid to stay on 50 if you have just one mine and both players are focusing on you, basically. So he will lose way more by staying 50 here than he will win gold-wise by not paying
Player's
tax
forces
on
are under attack.
these remaining 7k.
Town is under siege.
So he will lose at least one hero here. He will lose a couple of buildings and units. And that, yeah, just not ideal, I think. Like strategically, usually Gradient plays his style very, like he sticks to his style, which is, yeah, is good to some degree, but I think in this case it's just stupid to like stick to your rule that you either want to be 50 or 100. In this case, it will just,
Player's forces are under attack.
yeah, would just lead to, at least it leads to action. Quest will kill some buildings here, will lower Gradient's gold. Nice levels here by Quest, really, or from Quest here. He's 788, and he's like, he played it so efficiently again. He managed to get these levels by just taking very few fights against Gradient. He didn't fight once against Liltic. Liltic going for the mass TP attack here. So game is accelerating. Nice disable here of these towers. And that's so if you see these enemy, these human against unmanned air fights, just so confusing. Like you never know who's winning. But in this case, there's just no way the human can take the victory. Or can win the fight. But it's starting to look a bit better, so nice. Like he kills his own tank here. More units streaming in. He's killing some of these ziggurats here, some of these spirit towers. And Quest, yeah, stone forming all of his guards, so doesn't want to go for a fight. So actually he killed a lot of towers here. He killed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ziggurats here. So it was a good attack. Curious to see if it actually, oh, not staffing him. Oh, Oh. With a bash? Yeah.
The town is under siege. A player's forces are under attack.
And Tick isn't realizing that Grady played together with him all the time, or at least for the last 15 minutes. Grady was attacking qwest on 100, like Grady was attacking qwest on 100 more times than he did, so just bad scouting by Lil Tick in this situation, and he yeah, did some damage. Some damage here. But of course, like, these levels become super scary now. 888 undead heroes, well equipped, 2 pendants of energy on the Dreadlord, double parry on the Lich, invul here, Cutgast Pipe, also an amazing item for undead. As I mentioned earlier, mana usually the weak point for undead heroes, and like this Dreadlord with 870 mana and the Cutgast Pipe will never run out of mana. Like, at least not doing fights. So also that mana regeneration, like, how much is it? That's like, let's count, 1, 2, 3. So I'd say almost like 10 mana per 3 seconds. So basically 3 mana per second. Does that make sense? I guess. Grady needs to be careful here. Infernal drop may come in. Wow, last second staff. Nicely done by Grady. It's a bit risky here, but he saved him. And I don't get why Grady, like, he's trying not to use his gold, but Lil Tick is not going to allow him not using any gold. And Grady going for these islands way too early. Like, there's just no way he will keep this island. We'll just die. And eventually it may even lose them the game. Like, Lil Tick still has a lot of gold still, and Grady too, but at some point, like, the gold here will, or the gold will shrink, and yeah, Lil Tick will just lose units over and over here. There's just no way he can keep his units alive against all these guards. Nice focus on the DK here. Using Death Act, wow! Not using the DP again. And is he out of TP? Yeah, he doesn't have a TP. Wow, this is so bad. I mean, it might have been his intention. He will tavern the DK. Not sure if I'm a fan of that. Wow, and the Archmage died, and Lil Tick did not see the DK here, the DK being taverned.
A player's forces are under attack.
Lil Tick needs to TP out quickly here. Yeah. I'm not sure, like, some people in chat say that qwest is intentionally losing his heroes, and honestly I think at some point here, these fights earlier here, he wasn't, like, he may not have lost them intentionally, but once DK died, I guess he was not overly keen to keep all the rest alive. But in this situation, having just 1 TP on your DK and losing it here in the center is just not, I don't think makes sense. Like, it's just super risky, especially against human. Like, if Liltic would have a few more tanks, which, like, he goes for, I think he should push back to 100, and apparently if he doesn't plan to kite this undead army, I think it's not, maybe he should stop getting gyros and just go for mass tanks, try to mass TP into this undead main. I think that's his best chance now. Like, as we saw, even with 100 supply, if Grady is not really helping him, he has no chance against these undead heroes, so I don't think he can go for straight up fights against 100 supply of undead anymore. He has no AoE really. Nice. Nice Infernal. That was just in time. Instant kill on the Archmage, so basically die. Die back. Die back? Buy back. Die. And now Gradient getting some units and going for the attack. Why is he 80 supply? Like, I don't get it. He wants this, okay, he wants this 4k gold, so I guess it makes sense. I thought this would be empty, but okay, I take it back. 80 supply might be okay in this situation. I personally think it would make more sense for Gradient to be 100 right now. Maybe stop mining. I don't think the 4k make a huge difference now. And in return, I think he will just lose all of his units if he doesn't fight on 100, so... Undead Hero's out of mana now, so it's definitely an opportunity here. Penalty points? Or pause. Okay, while players are going for a quick break, I will get myself something to eat. Be right back. Alright, players back. I am back. New beer. Cheers. Let's hope this is going to like keep action packed and do not end up in an island standoff. So, another island inside here, I guess. There's a worm here of Vyvanne.
A town is under siege.
Gradient going for the 100, or 8 supply attack here against 100. I don't think he will be able to kill a lot. Maybe some buildings, but I'm not sure if he actually went for the... Did he go for the Tranquility? Did he try to go for it, or was it just the Warsong Battle Drums bug? I guess it was just a bug. Now Grey here drops back to 50 as usual. Like, he really wants these 3k gold, and it's just so useless. Like, it's he's losing, like, he's losing 1k to 1.5k of units. Like, one hippo is basically yeah, I mean, it's just not worth it.
A player's forces are under attack.
I mean, staying on 50 versus 80 is basically like the worth of just a few hippos. And like, it's basically 4 to 5 hippos that you gain worth, or that you get in value. And Quest going for the full scale attack here. Like, that's what I was hoping for. At some point he will try to make use of his gold. How did Quest drop... What? How did Quest drop 20k gold? Wow, it's crazy. Is there like a bug? Did he just lose 10k gold or something by... Like, how did he lose so much gold? Very interesting. I mean, he taverned his DK, he needed to rebuild some buildings, and he lost some guards, but that's crazy. I mean, guards are not cheap, but losing 20k? Interesting. I mean, also he lost some TPs, so I guess it makes sense, but still, like, impressive that he lost so much. Quest chasing Grady's heroes here with his heroes, and in the meantime Garx being at work here. And that's usually the situation where Lil Tig starts to shine. So in this situation, like, Lil Tig appears to be the weakest now, and I'm not sure he really is. His hero levels are like the lowest, of course, but he has enough gold to get one more army of... So he will be able to get some more levels, and I just think he will not be the target of... Like, he will not get teamed anymore at any point, I assume, so he's in a decent spot. So usually these are like the games that he likes to win. But apparently he's not always playing against Radiant and Quest. And this is very unfortunate to lose all his gyros here, so bad gyro micro here in the back of his main.
A town is under siege.
And Gradient pumping one Chimera. I think Gradient should pump up to 100. Oh. Another pause. Needs to prepare his mouse for late game micro. Probably change the sensibility. Is it sensibility or sensitivity? Change the sensitivity so he can micro receivers better late game. Yeah, okay, Gradient is going for some units now. He has still 2k gold to mine, so I guess he will go on for 80 supply only. Which I'm not a fan of, as I mentioned. yeah, Quest going
A town
up
is
to 100
under
supply.
siege.
He's down to 8k gold, which is still like decent, so he can get one more army, but at some point, like, he will not be able to get more units, and he doesn't have a lot of buildings, so he has a full main base still, but like this main base can disappear very quickly if it gets teamed by even by like 50 supply human and 100 supply elf. This main base can die very easily. Still can't believe Quest lost 20k gold.
Town is under siege.
I didn't have the impression that he fouled overly much, so I wonder how he really lost it. I guess, yeah. I guess these 1 or 2 losses here of armies just cost him more than 10k, I guess, in total. And then all the TPs, taverning DK, getting some ziggurats back up.
A town is under forces are under attack.
Ooh, gradient now 100 supply, but why is he TPing? That's a strange move. I think that would have been a good position here out of the map for Quest to kite Gradient's army and meet Gradient without Lil Tick being around. Gradient being level 766, so he has Tranquility now. Lil Tick being level 665, also decent, but obviously weaker than 9, 10, 9, 10, 10. So impressive levels here for Quest. Needs Tranquility? Yes, okay. Now he pulled it off, but this is no fight he can win. Just... these undead heroes are so scary. So... against 100 supply, there's just no way Gradient can win this. Like, he needs some damage first, then he needs scrolls, and then he needs perfect Tranquility. I think with 100 supply, that's always a tricky thing at this point. Like, on one hand, the AoE damage of Panda and Tinker are so great that, or is so great that you usually don't want to. You usually want to go for Chimeras because these are the units to really damage undead heroes. But if the undead has 100 supply of Gargs and some worms in maybe, but these many Gargs are just very difficult to defeat with a Knight of army if you don't have perfect position and if you have like 5 Chimeras, it's not an even fight when it comes to like the air battle itself. And if the undead Mike versus the Gargs, well, there's just they will eat their way through these hippos. So I guess it's going to turn into a full base race scenario now. That's like the advantage of these players in the game. They will all try hard and they are all very good in hiding buildings. So it's going to be a base race here, and I'm curious to see whether Quest TPs. I guess he has to TP. Okay, no, he has another Halls of the Dead here. May TP at some point. but will kill another, I guess, another 30 supply here for free. And yeah, this is a situation in which Little Tig can just lay back, run around with his Invis heroes, scout, and prepare for the base race. So this may continue for some time. Little Tig lost some buildings, but his main base, like, he still has a production to some degree, and he still has farms here, so he's not even supply blocked, and a lot of peasants, so he's in a decent shape. Quest TP'd in the meantime, wanted to save this Halls of the Dead here, and obviously, like, don't want to lose this, so yeah, he TP'd just in time. Because it's his only one, so he needs to be careful here. And he doesn't have many acolytes. Like, he has this one. Are there any other acolytes that he has? I think it's his only one, so needs to be very careful here. Like, he's supply blocked now, so yeah, he goes for a necropolis here. Needs to be careful. So that would be a very unfortunate loss here for Quest if he runs out of acolytes. It's basically GG, because there's just no way he can stay alive against all of these heroes and against a Tinker. There's just no way he can keep alive his main base. Now Quest heavily maniping here. He's down to 4k gold against Gradient with 500, and now Tig with the most gold. So he's preparing his island here.
A town is under siege.
Wow, and this necropolis was killed, so this is the last acolyte. This is like a very tricky situation here for Quest. So he needs to make sure that his main base is not dying now. Like, if this building is dying, he's really under heavy pressure to save this acolyte. Like, and he has no Temple of the Dead. So if he had a Temple of the Dead, obviously he could try to go for Banshee and that kind of stuff, but yeah, he's playing without a temple, so this acolyte is really worth, like the champion acolyte.
A player's forces are under attack.
Uh-oh. I don't get why he's keeping... Like, this is... Ooh, that was super close. That was... He needs to be so careful, and I don't understand why he is like leaving his acolyte alone. He should just get some, like, he has enough gold. He should get like 2 ziggurats here, attack. Kill off some supply, and then he can get more acolytes. I guess that's what he's doing now. Like, that would be such a bitter way to lose this game. This manip is just stupid. Okay. I think it would have been better to just get the ziggurats here. Yeah, and Gradient still has an impressive main base. A lot of moonlights here, so...
A town is under siege. A player's forces are under attack.
He's healing up his main building. Okay, now he recovered, but for a quick second, like if that acolyte would have died here, he like he would have been under heavy pressure. So if that acolyte dies and his hall dies, he's basically out. There's just no way he can ever get buildings up again. So that was a tense situation for some seconds there. And something I would have expected by Quest is like scouting the corners here, which like someone like Quest, who is a master of islands, should be well aware that that's like a risk. So tick scouting
A player's forces
very
are
well,
under attack.
but tick scouting here at the top, I guess tick scouted that. Not entirely sure. And also not about this island, so... Honestly, I expected Quest to scout this way earlier.
A player's forces are under attack.
And finally Gradient is managing to finish this gold mine here. But he has only 1k gold, so it's a tough situation here. For I'd say most tough for Quest, who was at risk to run out of acolytes for some time here. And also tense for Gradient, who is almost out of gold, and I'm not sure why he's going for Talents. I don't think he should invest his last 500 gold into, or 1k gold into Talents. They will just die very quickly. And he has the biggest main base, so yeah, over time all these buildings will just die. There's just no way he can defend it. And on top he has the islands, so as soon as these islands will be scouted, he will be the target for teaming. I guess the gyro died here? No. Is it this one? I guess. How much supply is here? 1, 2, 3. There's some supply here. Not too much, so I guess Gradient will hide around 15, 20, 15 supply here. Yeah, I guess 15. But he has some hippos too, and at some point it will become very difficult to kill all these air units. Like, well, Quest will be able to... Quest will be able to go up to 100. Okay. Niltic doesn't seem to have scouted this one even.
A player's forces are under attack.
The good old dizziness. wonder if they... I wonder when they're going to scout this one.
Siege. A player's forces are under attack.
I think he should be able to D&D that. Like, if he frees... Like, if he... I don't... can you even... I think you can. Like, if these trees are gone, I think you can go up to this spot. You can go up to this spot. And then you should be able to D&D that. And I wonder if Quest is going to scout this island now, or if he will stop because of all these gyros here.
A player's forces are under attack.
Ooh, will he scout it? He scouted it. Okay. Now both scouted it.
They came from behind.
Yeah, I think for this, like, this island is not that big of a deal, I think, because he should be able to D&D that or get an infernal on top of that island. But this island could turn out to be really tricky. Stop only 2 and 1. I mean, Quest is not a huge help here. He needs to use his cogs. I think that's Quest's best chance here to, like, Liltic will not prevent him from killing Gray's entire main base. And then once they finish these islands, I think that's Quest's biggest chance.
A town is under siege. A player's forces are under attack. The town is under siege.
Maybe you're even
player's
able
forces
to
are
reach
under
that
attack.
tree. If you get rid of all these trees here, I guess it's in reach. Yeah, guess it's in reach. We'll take some time though to... Here's a mortar team here, so should be able to kill all these trees.
A town is under siege. A player's forces are under attack.
He got the level up. Ooh, he used the staff here. Obviously, like, he has only 2 staffs. Not a fan of that. I think he should have sold the ring of protection here for a triple staff. Easy kill on the keeper,
Town
and
is under siege.
not sure if he will be able to get back that keeper.
A player's forces are under attack.
Quest plays it super passively now. I'm not sure if he, like, maybe he's confident that he can finish. I guess he tested it at some point, so I guess he knows about these islands and knows
player's forces
whether
are
he
under attack.
can reach them with Death and Decay or not. So, we'll see. In the meantime here, Quest is sending his Dreadlord.
Town is under siege.
Yeah, Gradient will lose all of his buildings, so
Player's forces are under attack.
yeah, I think he took the islands way too early. It was nice that he prepared them, but I think, yeah, preparation is one thing. Not even sure if they would have scouted the fact that he prepared it. So that's one thing, but taking the islands and getting up trees at this point is not, like, it was too early, I think.
Player's forces are under attack.
You can consider that once you, like, you lose your main base. I think it's a fair point, but if you have an entire main base, plenty of gold, it's just not, like, it's just too early.
Town is under siege.
And I'm not sure, like, there are
player's
these,
forces are under
or there's
attack.
this island, but apart from that, here's an AP, but there are not many wisps around the map, and where are all the moon worlds? Okay, here's one, 10 supply, 20 supply,
A town is under
30,
siege.
okay, yeah, these two moon worlds. There must be a tree somewhere else, right? 70 supply, 10, 20,
Player's forces are under attack.
30, 40, 50, 60. We will see.
A town is under siege.
I guess this would be the right time to kill the island here for a little tick.
A
So,
player's forces are under attack.
but I guess he, like, where are all the hippos? Okay, here they are. At this point, I guess Quest will is in the best position. He's letting Tick do all the work. He's 100 supply. He has more gold still, I guess. Yeah, okay, he has by a slim margin the most gold. But his heroes are just so strong. So, yeah. And Lil Tick will is likely to lose a lot of buildings here to Grady's res.
A player's
And is
forces
Quest
are
going
under
for the
attack.
attack here on Lil Tick? Could make sense, but okay, here was the main tree.
A town is under siege.
Uh-oh. Wow, that's around. I think he could have. Oh, and he used double click TP.
Town is under
So
siege.
that Archmage is super dead. He's not killing it? No, he's okay. That hurts a lot. Little Tick is supply blocked on 48, so that was very unfortunate for Little Tick. Like, the way he played it was, I don't know, not a fan of that. I guess he has only that one, he had only that
Town
one
is
main
under
building,
siege.
so there was no way to TP somewhere else, but
A player's forces are under attack.
yeah, that might be GG. So, I mean, well exploited by qwest, the fact that Lil Tick tunnel vision
Town
on
is under
Gradient,
siege.
and Lil Tick was so keen on Gradient helping him earlier to attack qwest, and now, like, he was doing all the work for qwest. Like, Lil Tick finished this entire main base, and qwest was just sitting around, so if someone sits that much at this point, I guess we should have
Player's
scouted him at
forces
least,
are under
and
attack.
yeah, but it's easier said than done. Obviously, from ops perspective, you know, like, you know
Town is
best.
under siege.
And now Little Tick has to get up a lot of farms here. Like, qwest will try to finish him and might successfully do so. He has an acolyte here now. He has his entire main base, so I don't see them winning that. qwest will be able to finish that pretty quickly. And honestly, I think at this point, like, personally, I think if I'd be qwest, yeah, maybe he can take the time to finish Little Tick. I think it could make sense to kill the islands
A player's forces are
rather
under
sooner
attack.
than later. Next island here. Needs to be very careful here with all these gyros. And Gradient can't heal,
Player's
so
forces
it
are
will
under
take him a
attack.
lot of time to, like, get this. Like, he has a bit of gold left, but he doesn't want to repair the Tinkerer, I guess. So it will take him a lot of time to get back to full supply, to full HP, and this base is still considerably big. So yeah, I think qwest got this. Nicely played. I think in the end he exploited
A player's
like the
forces
weakness
are
of
under
the other
attack.
two perfectly well. Early also, I think he, like, no major mistakes except that one acolyte, like, that almost died here. I think apart from that, yeah, maybe a bit of a dirty play early to kill off Vyvanne. But yeah, I think an interesting finalist for sure, to be in a game with Yanker, Zam, Super Cumulu,
Player's
and
forces are under attack.
Trunks. So we have basically one of each, like, play style, and we have if he makes it here, we have a random player, a human player, one undead, and one night elf. So it's a nice mix. Like, and I guess Yanker will go for random. Like, I think he always goes for random. He picked he picked a race in some of the previous matches, so maybe he goes for a certain
Player's
certain
forces
race,
are under attack.
depending on the map. and enemies, but yeah, maybe a race he feels most comfortable with. Yeah, and Lil Tick is on 1k gold still, but he has only 82 lumber, and I don't see him getting any lumber here. So
A player's forces are under attack.
but I'm glad that this is not going to be a 3-hour match even. So even the long matches are much shorter this season. So this one's going to be over in the next 5 to 10 minutes, I guess. Just don't see Lotic staying alive for much longer here. He's really lacking some lumber. Yeah, lumber is such a tricky thing here later on. If you didn't manage to get enough lumber early, it's just so difficult at this point to get some, unless you're a night elf. It's really tricky. Now he's using his 2 worms here, and the Invis MK is just not going to be very useful here. They can go for 1 attack, but I doubt that they will be able to kill much. And yeah, Shade is here.
The town is under siege.
Ooh, he's bringing his tanks, I think. Yeah, he wants to get rid of the supply block, but I think he could have made some use of these tanks, like 1 tank here, 1 tank here. I guess these tanks could have dealt some damage here, but yeah, okay, he just sacrificed them.
A player's forces are
In the meantime, the worms finishing this island, and Liltic just down to a few buildings here. So there's 1 farm here, there's 1 peasant here. So I don't think Quest will leave them a chance. Yeah, Liltic tries to get back his heroes, but if Quest plays it smart, he will try to kill like the farms or this altar. Yeah, Liltic should just kill the spellbreakers or something. It's his only chance here to stay in the game.
A player's forces are under attack.
He's trying to get up a lumber mill here, but that will be scouted in a second. So yeah, now he's revealed. So yeah, that's it for Liltic, 100%.
The town is under siege.
Yeah, you will not get back any other hero. Nice surround here on the DK. But he can use Death Pact. Yeah. Here's a TP, has a scroll.
The town is under siege.
Nicely done by Quest.
A player's forces are under attack.
Yeah. Some damage was dealt here, but not enough. I'm surprised that Quest didn't try to go for... Like, I think he should have tunnel visioned here on these buildings. Like, that's so obvious that, like, if a human tries to get up 3 farms here and his altar, it's so obvious that that's like a desperate move here. Especially since he's revealed, so... that's... Will that Archmage come back? I guess it might. Yeah, he might. Will be close though. Like, he will get back, but will he get away? Super close.
The town is under siege.
Ooh.
Player's forces are under attack.
Yeah, Liltig being revealed here. Has only 1 farm here and 1 farm in construction. Gradient dealing quite some damage here, but it's just... I don't think it will be enough. I would be really surprised here if Quest loses this.
Player's forces are under attack.
Okay, that's it for Liltig here. Unless he can pull off a miracle here. Like, he's revealed, so I guess Quest will just go for the... Just go for him here. Yeah, it will take him a lot of time. It would take him a lot of time to get enough lumber here, and then he's lacking some gold, so... In typical Quest manner, he's unsummoning some of his buildings. We'll try to gain more gold for necropolises.
The town is under siege.
It's so nice of Quest to do that. Like, oh, I think Gradient should be his top priority here.
A player's forces are under attack.
And he casted his Infernal, so there's not really a way for him to stop to stop gradient.
A town is under siege.
Oh. Yeah, I guess even if Gradient disconnects now, I don't think Quest will win. Quest will lose this. It's just, yeah. Quest has gold for several new buildings. And I guess Gradient is still in the game. That would be so nice in the future Reforged if there will be a reconnect feature anytime or at some point. That was so nice on like V3 Arena, the functionality to reconnect to games. It's such a huge deal, especially for FFA. Should have saved some of these workers. Okay, so this island died. I think this is the right way to do it. So send out the Gargs and protect your main base with your heroes. I think that's the way to go here.
A player's forces are under attack. The town is under siege.
So new attempt here. Radiant has a new TP. This is just this is a lot of gold still. And he has plenty of items, so he can get multiple necropolises.
A player's forces are under attack. The town is under siege.
Yeah, quest place it safely.
A player's forces are under attack.
Nice
The town is
tranquility.
under siege.
Yeah, there's no way. No way. Grady's winning this.
A player's forces are under attack. A player's forces are under attack.
And now quest is going for the island, so there's no way. No way Grady is going to win this. You used the Infernal Trolley again. There's no more TP, so... Ah.
The town is under siege. A player's forces are under attack.
So, yeah. I guess, okay, now quest is going for this island here. Nice timing. So, while quest is finishing Gradient, I repeat again what I mentioned earlier. So the final will hopefully happen tomorrow or next week. And Quest is going to be the 4th finalist, together with Super Cumulo, Yanker Zam, and Trunks. Not sure yet on which map the match is going to be played. Young Sam will have map choice. And yeah, hopefully going to see a nice final. Maybe, like, this wasn't the worst semi-final we saw. Usually semi-finals have a tendency to be either a bit long or too quick. Like, we saw some very disappointing semi-finals in the last few seasons, so this was, I'd say, an okayish one. Not too long, like 2 hours, I think is totally fine. Eventually, like, not like a free win, obviously not what I would have hoped for, but qwest deserved finalist here. We will stream the final, I guess. Yeah, I guess we will stream it on this channel depending on when it takes place. I should be able to do that. Maybe I'll find a co-caster for that one then. And apart from that, we will kick off the Team Battle Royale for end of November. Sign-ups are possible until November 22nd, and on probably November 23rd, team captains will draft their teams, and then the normal FFAs, random hero FFAs, team FFAs, and a lot, plenty of other fun modes that will be played in the course of December. And yeah, the best team, or the team with the most points, will win and will take the victory of Team Battle Royale 4 on December 29th, and we'll see if it will be Ravenclaw again or another team. Last time it was pretty close. We didn't need a tiebreaker, but it was an exciting season until the very last day. Usually Team Battle Royale matches are all anonymously played, so players will get Smurf account names before the match that they have to join with. We need to see how that will work out this time, so it's like no problem on Northrend, but as soon as Reforge gets rolled out, and if they shut down the current Battle.net instantly, might become difficult to join with Smurfs. I hope there will be some kind of a nickname function in the new Battle.net, but I guess there might not be. So need to see how that works out, but we'll find a way. Crazy scouted this with his Tinker? No, I guess he didn't. That's like, no way you can see this, right?
A player's forces are under attack.
I can't believe he can see this. Like, it was even nighttime. This is crazy.
The town is under siege.
Is this, like, if Grady is winning this, it'd be pretty amazing. And I'm surprised that I'm really surprised that that qwest is failing to kill, like, either the Penna. I guess, yeah, he will kill the Penna now, but let's see if he lol. But now Grady's revealed, so I guess it's over. Where's his last building though? Okay, there's this one here. Yeah, so I guess it's over. Lol. Can't believe this is getting that close, and qwest really failed to stop like the Tinker from staffing earlier here, so oh, and he dodged the call. And what's Grady doing?
A player's forces are under attack.
Yeah, that's it.
The town is under siege.
But he made it very exciting here. So yeah, it was a close match after all, but yeah, he just dies. So that's GG. Congrats to Quest. Was much closer than I expected, but eventually, yeah, Quest took it. Top score, obviously, doesn't matter anymore in this one, but yeah, Quest mined a lot of gold and then got a lot of hero levels from fighting. He just produced 220. I still wonder how he lost all that gold. Like, obviously this, like these units here bumped up by like the Tinker factory bug, but still, like, this is not that much more than Liltic, and Liltic mined much less, I guess, but we'll see in a second. A lot of units killed here by Quest. Also lost a lot of buildings. 17 hero kills. And yeah, almost twice as much, or basically twice as much experience points as Grady. Gold mined. Gradient mined more gold than Quest even, but yeah, okay, similar gold loss to upkeep. If you compare it to Liltic, like Liltic mined way less and lost way more gold to upkeep. So Liltic played it more efficiently in the end, but his big mistake to focus on, or to tunnel vision on Grady and ignore Quest for quite some time cost him the game. Still, was a fun one. So thanks everyone for watching. Feel free to join us on Discord and join us on ffamasters.com. On top of the site, you will hopefully see the